Hey guys, Matt Starr here with my buddy Greg Potter, and we are going to talk to you about some of our favorite Ludwig drummers throughout the history because we've been having this conversation since we met, and we thought, you know what, this would be a good time to just do it live with you guys and get your comments and get you involved as well. So uh, these are we're a bunch of drummers trying to navigate. It's like chimpanzees with boom boxes. We're trying to figure this out. Potter, are you here? Okay, we're trying to get the technical end of things together. So I'll just say hey, and I hope you guys are all doing well, and everybody is staying sane. And hopefully, if you're a drummer, you got some drums at home and you can play, or at least a pad. Electronic kits make more and more sense these days. So yeah, it's a good time to do some shedding and get caught up on some music listening and seeing what other artists are doing. And there's so many great new Ludwig artists that are out there. And I know that the Ludwig's posting a lot of videos of those artists as well. So hopefully you got lots of content to keep you focused. And again, just sane. Mental health is so huge, and music is so great. So it's a great antidote for anything. Um, do we have Potter? There
But
he
I
is.
still don't hear anything.
You don't hear anything?
I don't hear anything. It's
I can see you.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't hear anything. I got up early for nothing.
Yeah.
How come I'm not hearing anything?
Should I do this? Could be twins.
I'll even turn on this.
Try that. Hello? Check two.
Hear nothing.
It's drum shaped. No audio on your end.
Man, I think my hair has grown since like 5 minutes ago.
Well, that's why your seat is so low. Yeah. We'll get it together. Turn down my earbuds a little bit. Check 1, 2. Hello, hello. Got your volume on? All right. Well, anyway, I am going to chat, and then we'll get him dialed in as well. So, yeah, we just wanted to talk about some of our favorite Ludwig drummers, and there's so many. And Ludwig is interesting because I think the first time I heard Ludwig drums actually in person sounded so familiar. It just sounded right, and I've always felt that way since then. But when you get a little bit of education, you realize, yeah, because, a Superphonic or a Chrome Over Brass or a Black Beauty has been on pretty much, every record that I love, and so it is a very familiar sound, as it should be. And I'm just going to send over a photo very quick to our guy who's running this whole thing here. Hold on. And then, I'm going to also, let me go on Instagram because I want to be able to see you guys. Or Facebook, actually. I want to be able to see what you guys are doing. So I can see any comments. Let's go to Ludwig. Okay. So, all right, I'm just going to talk because I can't get this technical thing together here. So, one of my guys, the first drummer I ever heard was the drummer for Cheap Trick, Bunny Carlos. And a neighbor of mine, Scott Kabbalah, had a few records. He had a Sean Cassidy record, he had a Kiss record, and he had Cheap Trick live at Budokan. And if you're not familiar with that record, definitely encourage you to check it out. But I just love Bun's drumming, and I didn't realize all that was going on when I was listening to him. And there's a lot happening, but there's so much personality, and the whole band has so much personality. But Bun's drumming, just the whole. Well, first of all, he's ambidextrous, which is a great thing to be, especially when you're a drummer, because it frees you up. Can you hear me? Potter looks like he can hear me. I think he's ordering a pizza though. Okay, so most guys are gonna go hi-hat, right? But Bun is doing both, which you kind of hear that sound on Rock and Roll, by Zeppelin. But much earlier than that would be Earl Palmer playing on Keep It Knockin', Little Richard tune, and which is essentially the rock and roll intro. But it's that, and it's not straight eighth notes, and it's not a shuffle. It's like somewhere in between, and it just feels so good. To me, it sounds like the 70s. It has that rock and roll sound, that rock and roll feel, and that's just so integral to what they do. And just, there's so many different things. The introduction to Ain't That a Shame, there's so many great fills, and I've seen Bun talk about those fills and where he took, I took this from Keith Moon, I took this from Ringo, I took this from Dave Clark 5, and he really breaks it down. And then you hear it and you go, oh yeah, great. So Bun is a great musicologist. He would typically put the band's set list together. I know he's an archivist as well. I mean, anyone who's seen his drum collection knows that. He's a great collector and very knowledgeable, but also too in regards to his history with Cheap Trick, and has different recordings from all the years that they were on the road, and keeps track of all that stuff. So yeah, and it brings that into his drumming, which we all do. It's people's personalities come into their playing. And you listen to Keith Moon's drumming, and you can kind of think of, well, I get an idea of what he might be like. Listen to Alex Van Halen's drumming, you go, yeah, I think I got an idea what he might be like. So anyway, there you go. I'm gonna try and connect with you guys here real quick, because I feel like I'm just talking to myself, which essentially am. But if you guys can hear me and are saying things back, I want to communicate with you. About those fills and where he took, hey,
am I there yet?
You're here. I think if you can,
I think those guys with the rocket launch in Florida are actually, they have less to go on here than to get me on this show.
Yeah, they just got to light a fuse.
I'm just saying. I mean, there are men that are actually going to go to the moon. I can't even get on this show.
Yeah. Are you here? Can you hear me?
Well, I am now. Now I'm on my cell phone. I may as well be talking into a matchbox. I had like 17 different monitors here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's okay, but you can't hear me, and I can see you.
Yes. We're in business.
Can you
so I can see the jaws snout. Yes.
Okay. Because eventually I'm going to take you around the whole room, because I love this drumming thing. But at this point, I see I'm going to be cleaning houses for a living. So I show you around our house and then show you how I clean. So, okay, what did I miss for the? Yeah.
Well, I just gave away the secret to life, and but that's all right.
Oh, okay. Could you text me that?
Yeah, I'll text it to you.
Thank you. Perfect.
I'll write it out. So no, I was talking about Bunny Carlos, actually.
Okay.
Who's
wonderful.
From your neighborhood?
From my neck of the woods. Yeah, he's been a friend of mine for a while. And are we talking about? We're talking about his Ludwigness.
Yeah, I was just talking about how unique his style is, and as a kid, I'd listen to those records and thought like, oh, this drummer's cool, But as I got older and understood all that was going on, I was like, holy smokes! And then you realize nobody does this. Nobody even can touch what this guy's doing. And to me, the closest thing I could associate him to would be like Earl Palmer, and those Little Richard records and that thing. But even
Well, you know
still,
what?
again, there's nobody. The guy.
Did you speak about the? Did you the trick of what his playing is about? I mean, I don't know if you talked about it because I was muted for the first 9 minutes of this. I was
you were muted. I see. Yeah.
Yeah. And as this is going to go on, believe me, you'll be muting me in the next 10 minutes. But no, the trick of that man.
Well, I was going to say, is there a button?
Yes.
In case
there is.
of emergency, press mute.
Yeah, it's called just turn your phone off. But no, the magic of the Bunny Carlos is the man is left-handed, and he sets his drums up right-handed. So when you listen to him play, he's basically playing his snare drum like you or I, a right-handed drummer, would play his hi-hat. So he's playing. What he's doing is he's riding with his left hand on that snare drum and actually playing quarter notes sometimes on a hi-hat. I mean, I don't want to go too deep into drumming this, but I'm saying I think another man that plays, I believe, similar. I know you're going to get all the hate mail, but I think Ringo is the same way. I think Ringo might be playing, it's like he's a left-handed player playing on a right-handed drum set. And because Bunny Carlos, I don't know if you're familiar with Hello Kitties, the tune on the first album.
Sure.
And then,
the Swiss triplet.
Exactly. But he's leading it with his left hand. So that's what throws you off. He's playing like a quarter note on that rack tom up in front of him, just hitting 4, but the triplet's happening with his left hand on the snare drum. See, so if you don't, so that's what makes
crazy.
it.
So as a kid, I had all I could do to learn Love Gun by Kiss. And then I'm listening to something like Hello Kitties, or you get into the Beatles and you realize Ringo's doing like doubles with his left hand a lot of times. He's starting, or I see Bunny do a fill, and I think I might be reversed on this screen here, but left-handed going, and I'm like, wait a second, isn't it right? And then it's like, oh yeah, the next one is right. And I'm going, oh my God.
That's why he's left-handed. So I mean, that, be it playing a Ludwig drum or whatever, his sound gives it, like when you watch Buddy play and he's doing so much with his left hand. Basically, Bunny Carlos then is the Buddy Rich of rock, because he's playing. Not Buddy wasn't left-handed, but I'm saying his left. If you watch Buddy's left hand, he's playing a ride pattern with his left hand on the snare drum. And that's like I'm saying, Bunny Carlos, when you watch him play a beat, whereas you and I would probably just, play 8 notes on our hi-hat with 2 and 4 on the snare, Bunny's playing on his snare. I mean, that's what fills that stuff up and makes his sound so unique, because you're right. Not many players played, through that time. I'm sure now, everyone has video access and stuff. Think about it, right? You would put the needle down on the record or in your cassette player in your car, and you're like, what is that exactly? Why does that triplet, you heard that snare drum hitting that triplet in the rack tom was almost like a bass drum. This is, and that Hello Kitties is one of the examples.
Yeah, exactly. No, I know. And I think too, not to beat up on Jack Douglas and Tom Wehrman, but just on those early records, they didn't know how to capture Bun and they didn't know how to capture Tom Peterson. So when I heard the live album, I heard the bass, I thought it was a B3. I was like, holy, what is that? And so he had a sound that they just had yet not figured out how to capture. Kiss was similar. I don't think they knew how to record Kiss in the early days, right? But back to Cheap Trick, Bun and all those ghost notes, a lot of times those just got either was told not to play them or they just didn't bring them up in the mix. So, but when I heard that live at Budokan and it's just, I'm like, it sounds like a shaker. Like, is another guy playing drums? It sounds like 2 people. And so for him, and he has a thing that nobody does better. Many guys do this, but that he will play a fill and the 8th note is built into the fill, or the 2 and the 4 are built into the fill. So even though he's going around the kit, you just feel like he's just bopping. You're just bopping along. Like it doesn't affect the flow of the tune. It's not like here's a big drum fill, And it's a bit of a Keith Moon thing because Keith could keep the beat going, but also kind of get loose and crazy with it. But Bun, better than anybody, just has that implied eighth note feel over everything, and yeah, it's amazing.
Oh yeah, and I mean it makes it unique to definitely the early Cheap Trick recordings. When you hear him play it, I mean it is similar to that when you listen to Bonham play rock and roll. I don't mean I mean the song rock and roll. He too is keeping that shuffle going with his left hand on the snare drum. Again, I don't know if Bonham was left-handed or is it just, that's how it came out. But yeah, that's when you try to recreate this stuff. Yes, it literally easier to follow Peter Criss doing Love Gun. Or did they bring Anton Fig for that? Or,
that was Peter. That was Peter.
Right.
So who do I'll turn it over to you. Who do you want to talk about?
Me.
You. Oh well, I know. I know that. Don't burden them with those conversations we've had. Other people, other drummers that played Ludwig that you might want to talk about, other than you.
I saw my name on the poster. I thought that meant it was Potterfest.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
How long have I been stuck in this house here? Like 3 months now.
March 15th, maybe. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Long enough.
I mean, we've all been stuck in it. I hope everybody is doing wonderful out there. Well, like when we first came up with this concept, when you and I were talking, and so that's what I was, I wanted to say that like you and I are basically the same guy. We both grew up just the influence of the Ludwig, the ads that they would put out. I mean, because you and I grew up during the same time period, like where you saw these drummers and because I know now music is, but yeah, I mean, when you would see a drummer, it was presented to you like in a magazine, really. I mean, videos really weren't out there as much. And so, I mean, when you saw an ad with a drummer, that became how you'd look either in a catalog or you looked in, say, Modern Drummer magazine, whatever. So I was really basing when we thought of this concept, the Ludwig ads with, say, I mean, they did them in the 60s. I mean, now are there pictures? Do you have the pictures? Does someone have the pictures to put up there?
I think we do have that. Yeah.
I mean, we're lucky that we're even just talking. So I don't know if we want to start venturing into putting pictures of people, Ludwig drummers, or people that have been, following these kind of things. But those ads that showed all the stars that they had. I mean, be it in the 60s, they had everyone from Dino Danelli to John Densmore with the Doors, and then moving into this. Yeah, I mean, okay, you had that one. How about that? How about do you have the picture of the stable of stars? It's in color and it's a bit clearer. But I'm saying here, how many did you not? Is Bunny Carlos was in the other one, but say this one here, I believe is from like early 80s. But I'm saying like these drummers, I mean, we can go through any of them, but I'm saying this is what molded that or just solidified the foundation of how Ludwig just had they just had the biggest stars in drumming. Like back then you had like actual stars in drumming. You saw a picture of, say, Ainsley Dunbar sitting on a haystack. And then the next time you'd see him, he'd be at Madison Square Garden in front of 17,000 people playing a Ludwig drum kit with some band called Journey. You know what I mean? So then you just studied the picture of that silver sparkle double bass kit, or then maybe they got a television shot. I think public television had Journey. What was it called? The Soundstage series. But it showed Journey, I mean, where you got, nowadays you just go right on your phone or you go to YouTube and you see exactly what we're talking about. But I'm saying growing up, as a younger player, you only saw this one picture. So that's why I thought, like, when we were talking about this, it was more of the influence of all these guys. If you want to talk about someone specifically, of course, I could talk about, you figure Ludwig had 3 of the greatest drummers ever. That would be, of course, Buddy Rich. I'm in his house. I have to say that. Kathy's probably in another room right now, counting my words.
Monitoring. And
exactly. Did you say Buddy within the first hour? I just got here.
Cup to the wall with the string.
Exactly. She actually has that sailor suit in the closet ready for me.
And the thing is, it fits you. That's what
Oh, well,
I've heard.
that's the other problem. That kick drum right there is only 22 inches. No, Kathy did just tell me that as a child, as Buddy got older, his father actually had Ludwig make the bass drums bigger so he would look smaller and younger.
Brilliant.
They kept poor Buddy in this like little sailor suit until he was like 12. And I don't know about
Right.
you, but if you were wearing a sailor suit at 5 or 6, by the time you're 12, you're like, hey, dude, or,
Yeah.
Dad, I realize I'm raising a family of 9 for us here. Because Buddy was like a regular, real child star. He's like the Gary Coleman of drums.
Yeah.
So, okay. But so these, they had Buddy Rich, they had Ringo and John Bonham. So is there, could you make your list? I realize Roger's drums had Dave Clark from the Dave Clark 5.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Ludwig, we had Ringo.
Who didn't play on the records, even though the drumming was fantastic. But yeah,
carry on. You send all that hate mail to Matt Starr, who's going to start breaking all the. Wait, he didn't play. He didn't do the snare drum fill on.
I don't believe so. I love those records, but no, I don't believe so.
Oh. Okay, well, even that, they had Dave Clark 5 in the 60s. We at Ludwig had Dino Danelli, who is easily great. I mean, he's easily he's our Ringo. I mean, he won't talk to us today, but I mean, he was. But I'm saying that's the kind of power of Ludwig, and just the ads and the drummers, to keep that stable. I mean, they had just you could pick any genres. Getting into the 70s, even Ian Pace played Ludwig. I mean, I understand now he's with another company and all, but in those formative years, when you held up that album of Made in Japan, Deep Purple.
Well, yeah, when records sounded great, there was all those artists like Roger Taylor,
Roger, exactly. I mean,
and a bunch of guys. It's like, to me, Ludwig had the cool drummers.
Yeah.
Like the cool dudes played Ludwig. And not that people who didn't play Ludwig weren't cool, but from what I could tell as a kid, I'm like, all the coolest guys are Ludwig, and
yeah. I mean, and that's
just as a kid, that was my interpretation,
Well, just as I realize, not just at this time, we're all stuck in our homes, and you don't know where our future's at. But I'm saying we're always going back to look at not the resurgence, but the vintage drums and people. I'm not saying the drummers of today aren't great, but realistically,
of course,
they're still putting Bonham on the cover of a drum magazine, or they're still putting Keith Moon on the cover of a drum magazine. So it's like we still want those original guys, or it seems we still go back to them. And I'm saying Ludwig is like the foundation of that to me. So and then Ringo. I mean, once he played that Ludwig drum set on the Ed Sullivan Show, forget about it. I mean, if you didn't, I'm old, but I'm not, I wasn't there then, but I'm saying
watching Ed Sullivan.
Yeah, exactly. I was already a certified public accountant in 64. I was already 33 years old in 1964. Or quick, do the math. But I'm saying that would be, but as growing up, all the drummers, I'm going to say all the drummers, but most of the drummers, even were we talking? Oh, you mentioned Kiss. Even the early days of Peter Criss with Ludwig.
He tried to get Ludwig.
He played Ludwig. Yes. Yeah. They said, not yet. What's your band again?
Right.
But he was a Ludwig drummer prior to where they went,
that's the brand, Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's like, you start and end at Ludwig. Because Buddy jumped around to a few drum companies too, but we can't compare. Don't compare any drummer's life to that of the great Buddy Rich. I happen to because I think I'm legally bound to it.
Yeah, right.
Well, at least homerly bound to it, because I don't want to get thrown out of the house. But no, you can't. His career lasted so long, and he was you know, he was branding before branding was branding. You know, I mean, wherever Buddy sat behind a set of drums, it became exactly. I mean, here, you look at that photo session there. That's actually what they're using on that new Buddy book that's out right now. I mean, but look at that. I don't even know who that woman is. Maybe we'll have to, let me text Kathy and find out who that woman back there is, because that's not Marie. That's not Kathy's mom standing there. Buddy's going to be in trouble again. Now Marie will yell at Buddy for that. Yeah, please take that down.
Notice how the photo just disappeared.
I was just going to say, our Buddy there's already like 3 lawyers have called already, and they're all from Kathy's mom. Just really, who's that woman? So, but no, I mean, you had him there. So you had Buddy. Ludwig had Buddy in, well, what, when he was really little. That would have been that would have been early on.
20s?
Born in 1917, and he's 5 years old there.
Yeah,
And then he right there. And now when look at that picture up there. If you didn't look at that Buddy Rich drum kit in the Ludwig catalog in now maybe our Ludwig people, I believe he came to Ludwig, what, in 77, 78? Would that be right? I mean, I don't want to say something and then all the Ludwig purists go, my God, Potter, don't you know? But he left that other drum company in Chicago and went to Ludwig and came back there 78, I believe. But I'm saying, when you saw that drum kit, how could you not have stared at that picture and just said, I got to have that kit? Of course, I didn't get one, but I certainly did want it. And it had to, I wanted it. But again, I think I ended up with a Ludwig stainless steel Carl Palmer looking drum set. Who would have thunk it? I didn't. Yes, I do.
You still have it?
It's a Ludwig stainless steel Octa Plus with, I don't think I've got a picture of it, but an Octa Plus had double bass. But back in, I guess I was a Carl Palmer fanatic, like Kathy. And I took the one bass drum away, so I just had the one 24-inch kick up front with all the toms, with the drum, with the ride cymbal on the kick drum. You know what I mean? So you'd come around and then have to make that drum. I have a photo of it somewhere, but I really don't want to get into the technical issues. No. But yes, as I was looking at the picture of that Buddy Rich, well, actually, I may have gotten that stainless steel Octa Plus a year or two before Buddy went to Ludwig. So, but as time went on, but I have pictures of it.
Yeah.
And then but yeah, so which other?
So I'm just talking.
What's that? No.
Good.
Am I going, or are you getting yelled at by someone?
I'll go. Yeah. No, we're good. No, I didn't want to cut you off, but yeah, I think, for me, growing up, again, it was these guys. I was listening to the records, and I just looked at what's the logo, and thankfully, since then, I've played all the other drums, and I've never felt the way I felt, playing Ludwig. But originally, it was just seeing that, for me, was that 70s logo. Well, here it is, that 70s logo, and it's like, boom, it's just cool. I mean, for me, Peisty too, the red, you're singing, but for me, that red Peisty was just like, boom, and then thankfully, hey, I like the sound of it, but it was it said something more than just drums, and then for me, being a Kiss fan, so then in early 80s, Eric Carr comes in, New York guy, curly hair, amazing. Actually, I'm going to get a picture of him and send it over. But
he was a real Ludwig guy. Yeah,
he was a Ludwig guy, and he played a set that they were like 4-ply with no reinforcement rings, very thin. And I've seen kits like this, and they have the blue and olive badges, but just so loud, sound amazing. But again, there's no reinforcement rings, but the shells are very thin.
When you set your drum set up on a tank turret, it has to be loud. I got to make sure I'm pointing in the right. When you set your drums up on a cannon, how cool can that be? Or I mean, so Eric Carr, he played a incredible Ludwig kit back, like with the modular hardware, with the double bass, the toms. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was a incredible Ludwig drummer.
You know, and
Oh,
that
you
was
have a
just,
photo?
I got a photo here that I'm going to send over. Yes, via email. Yeah, but you know, that just to see that and his drumming on the album Creatures of the Night, you know, was just so good and huge. And that's, to me, is the best drum sound of the 80s, because the 80s drum sounds got really ridiculous and stupid. But this is massive. It's like Bonham on steroids, but it's all they, you know, they put put a speaker in a hallway. They put a speaker in an elevator shaft. They put a speaker in a bathroom. You know, they use all this natural ambient. And so there's like all these different reverbs on all these different drums, but they just sounded incredible. And
yeah,
and
that
his,
was back. Yeah, that was back when they really used your drums in the studio, I believe. You know what I mean? They would like. Did they?
yeah,
Who
well, you
produced
can
that?
hear. What's that?
Who produced that? Like the
Michael James Jackson, not to be
Okay,
confused with, you know, Michael Jackson, but
yeah,
Michael James Jackson, but it was mixed by Bob Clearmountain. So, you know, anything that if Bob's mixing your record, you're going to be in pretty good shape. But yeah, and actually I worked, did a record with a producer named Dave Bianco, who's no longer with us, but he was an engineer on that session. I talked to him about it, and he said we put the drums up on a riser to get him up off the ground, and he goes, you know, I think that had a lot to do with the
oh yeah, yeah.
with the
But
sound we got. But yeah, that was the thing too. Like if you listen to, you know, a Deep Purple record, or you listen to whatever, and then you look at them live at the same time, it sounds just like the band. First of all, because everybody can actually play, but second of all, they're using the same gear. They probably have the same
yes,
heads on the drums.
that's
You know
what
what
I'm
I mean?
saying. Like that. Yes, yes. That's. I agree with that, and that's exactly why. It's probably either the same equipment. Yeah, because when I did talk to Ian Pace about that, like he said that he played. Because I asked him, where is that Ludwig? Where is that Silver Sparkle kit? He goes, I played it till it fell apart. You know what I
Just
mean?
took it
These
around the
men,
world
like,
and just kept playing it.
right, it was just the time and everything, but he actually he says I played it till it fell apart. And I go, well, what do you mean? Like, he goes, it literally fell apart. You know, floor tom legs came off and we couldn't fix it, and lugs would pull out, and the actual lug casings. Because I asked him about that Silver Sparkle Ludwig kit that you did see him play for quite a while, and then he said, there might have been one or two of them. And even with the drums he plays today, you'll see him on tour and it's the same kit. And he goes, I like it. Why would I don't want to change it. And the Silver
Right.
Sparkle is, it's not a Ludwig kit, but I'm saying it's, I saw it was no longer silver. It was kind of yellow. He goes, well, it started out silver, but I'm saying they hold on to this equipment and they use it. And right, they recorded records with it, and it ended up, it gives you the sound. It does. I mean, those Ludwig drums record better. They just sound great. I mean, I've played many, especially, you play a lot of things now that you get backline kits and stuff, and, or you're playing on someone else's. I mean, Ludwig has been wonderful on the road. You could always find a Ludwig drum set, but, it never lets you down. You sit behind him. It's like you're playing with something. It's just great.
Yeah, well, to me, it's, occasionally I'll hit another drum, like I'll get a whole set and one of the drums by another company, and on one of the drums I go, oh, that's a good tom. Or like, oh, that second floor tom sounds good. But never is it a whole kit that just gives me the feeling. And to me, I don't know how you quantify this word, but there's just a sexiness to it. There's like some mojo. There's this girth and just some stuff around it. I don't just need doom. We got that. Give me some extra stuff. It's like a Les Paul. I mean, you can make a guitar that sounds really clean, but the Les Paul just has extra stuff, and Ludwig always has that extra stuff. And I don't know how they get it, because, you could have. I'll give you a case in point. When I got the Ace Frehley gig, I was in Los Angeles, and they said, we need a drum set in New York City, because Ace takes this is back about 8 years ago, but every gig was tractor trailer taking all our stuff out. So we do.
Oh, okay.
we do one show in Wisconsin, and the truck would drive from New York to Wisconsin and back. Eventually, you realize that this is a huge waste of money. But so we needed a kit to reside in New York. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put a kit together because I want to do a certain kind of wrap on it. So I got a 1968 28 by 14 kick drum mahogany. Then I had a 69. It was the small badge, but it was maple. So it was like right in that transition.
Yes.
16. Then I got an 18 from a friend of Bunny Carlos's, Randy Rainwater. He found me a shell. He goes, I think this is Ludwig. And I got it, and it looked Ludwig, and the holes were drilled properly. So I was like, yeah, it is. And then the rack tom was a Granatone 14, which is mid to late 70s. Okay, I put that kit together. Sounded great. I was concerned because these are all different eras, all different. They just all sound like Ludwig's. And our front of house guy, who's Night Bob, who started out with the New York Dolls and worked with Aerosmith and Kiss and Ted Nugent and on and on and on. If it wasn't happening, he'd tell me in a second. And he goes,
"Oh, exactly,
They sounded beautiful." He said they sounded great, and I just was like, Ludwig. And the snare is like blends in with the rest of the drums. It sounds like it's from the same thing. The snare's metal. It's brass. How do you get a piece of brass to sound like a piece of 3 pieces of wood with re-ring? Like, there's just a similar tone. Anyway, look, I play Ludwig. I think that says enough. But just that sound and that toughness. They sound tough. Some they're not cute. Oh, this is articulate. Enough of that. Just
no, I know it's
give me drums.
But it's there if you want it. If you want to be that articulate about it, because I've been around the guys that take 3 hours to tune their bass drum. I mean, I've been there, but I've also been there where you got 3 minutes to get on stage and you take the bass drum right out of the case, and it's been in Ace Frehley's truck, for 13 hours driving. You put it up on stage and the thing's right there for you, and it screams.
And the last thing I'll say, just praising Ludwig sincerely, is I've heard other drums that sound really good with new heads, and then after the head is no longer new, it's like, and the excitement gets gone. Ludwig is the only brand I've ever heard that new head's great, and then the head gets worn in and sounds better and better. This head's 10 years old. Boom, sounds awesome. Mic it up. Let's go. It's just, they got it. They just got it.
Well, yeah. I mean, that being, it's just, a great set of drums, but bringing the masses to them, how we originally started out talking about just their stable of players. You wouldn't have kept, or even today, I mean, to keep a stable of players like Ludwig has, they've done it. Like I said, I've been around long enough that I've seen all these different ads, or and all the different players that you've seen throughout those. Up and back. I mean, other companies have made dents, but it's kind of like, Ludwig has been there. Whatever you people are doing, Ludwig's done it already. Or be it like, oh, well, look at our roster now. Yeah, I know. Ludwig did that already. And I'm saying you have to have a special product, and it has to be that level of, basically, yeah, but part of creating that excitement, I mean, that's special, that a company, like I said, through their advertising and through the drummers that they had, I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about anyone specifically, like we did with Bunny, but just any of them, we could talk about it, and their sound was recreated, because I remember, I don't know, take for instance, I guess we shouldn't talk about drummers from somewhere else, but I'm just saying, drummer in a big metal band, and they always tease him that his drumming might not be the way it is, whatever, but he was with a very large company. But when they made this historic album that they made, this large 4-piece metal band from San Francisco, it ended up, I guess they showed that he was playing a set of Gretsch drums on these recordings.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm wrong, who gets sued or something, but I'm just saying, and I'm not saying that's never happened to a Ludwig drummer. I'm just saying that would be,
it's rare. And you know, I made a suggestion for an ad. The snare drum owned by more record producers than any other snare drum.
Exactly. If it,
You know
right.
what I mean?
If it,
like, if a
right.
producer has one snare drum, they're like, yeah, I got this Black Beauty, or I got this 5.5 Superphonic, or
Yes.
it's like, yeah, exactly. And you
Right.
always see, I mean, you know, Dave Grohl, when he played with Queens of the Stone Age,
Right.
you know, he's with another company. He's originally with Nirvana, he's with one company, now he's with another. But when he was on that tour, he's playing Ludwig because he was just playing drums. You know what I mean? He wasn't working for anybody. He wasn't part of a band. It was just like, hey, I'm going to play with these guys and it's going to be fun. What do I want to play? Of course I want to play Ludwig. You know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that, yeah, those, I mean, I'm just saying that's an interesting, I believe there was a Ludwig drummer. Then again, I don't know how much of this stuff how long does this stay around? Is this going to stay on the internet like forever? Because I don't know.
They're going to play this at your funeral. Yeah.
Okay, well they will when Carmine Apiece hears this story. But no, it's a known thing. It's like, but remember, he was a Ludwig guy. Then he went over to that other drum company in Niles, Illinois, Slingerland. But I believe he went back to using his Ludwig drums and put a Slingerland sticker up on the kick drum. But it was really his Ludwig drums. Yeah. So I'm just saying that's an interesting take on, you know, once you're a Ludwig guy, you're Ludwig'd out, you know, I mean, but
yeah,
sound is sound, and there's nothing like the, you know, it's just, I don't know that, I don't know what to compare it to. I guess people that ride like Harley Davidson motorcycles, or people that drive Cadillacs or something, like, that's the only car, that's the only bike. Well, then that's the only drums. But,
yeah,
you know, we were kind of talking about, I think, how all these artists influenced us, you know, unless
well, and I wanted to mention Cozy Powell as
okay.
one. So Cozy is, you know, came up late 60s, but really got on the scene in the 70s. Played with Rainbow, played with Jeff Beck, you know, went on to play with Black Sabbath briefly, played in Whitesnake, and Gary Moore. And one of these guys that had some Bonham-ish stuff, and I believe he's a Midlands guy. So all of these guys are from this area in the UK, and I think Ian may also, but Bonham, Cozy.
Yeah, Ian is from, he's from, where is Ian from? He's from Nottingham. So he's kind of like the Robin Hood of drums.
Yeah.
But yes, English drummers, they do have their own special.
Yeah.
You know,
so, you know, Cozy, I mean, first of all, just look at the guy. You know, it's like it's two. So I was doing a gig about 10 years ago in the UK, Hard Rock Hell, and Graham Bonnet's going to play. So Graham Bonnet was singer for Rainbow during the period. And this drummer's setting up, and it's like 26, cool. Another 26. I'm like, whoa. So I'm backstage, and someone's setting this drum up. 15. Another 15. Okay. 18. Go. This guy's got to be good, whoever this is, because this kid is unbelievable, right? And what I turned it out, it was Bob Richards. Bob was playing with Graham. Bob actually was in an AC/DC video, and Phil Rudd left however many years ago, and before they got my dad, what's his name, Chris Slade back. They did a video, and they used Bob. Bob kind of looks like Phil. He's an English guy, but anyway, I just stand around, and he goes, "Yeah, check it. You know, this is Cozy's kit. It was actually Cozy's kit, but 2 26s, 2 15s, 2 18s, just a lot of drum, man. That's a lot of drum, a lot." And it was, you know, he played it beautifully, but and I took photos behind it. He was like, "Yeah, sit down, take some pictures. You know, give me your camera, I'll take pictures of you." He was really, you know, super proud that he actually had Cozy's kit. But yeah, I mean, there you go. It's like, are you kidding? I mean, that is a grown man. That's not cute. that's not hipster. That's a full-on adult right there behind those drums. And
Oh, definitely.
He had this way of striking these poses when he would hit. And if you look how wide apart his cymbals are, and they even got wider as time went on. But so when he would do a double crash, his arms were just spread full left and right. And
yeah, Buddy Rich's dad wouldn't have got him to wear a sailor suit behind those big bass drums. No way.
Yeah, I know that wasn't happening.
That wouldn't have happened. No, and he actually didn't. He play Cozy did all that damage with that kit, and then played like traditional grip. I believe a lot of it, you know.
And then with these Iron Maiden
wristbands,
you know what I mean. And this is like 75, you know.
Oh yes, and as a youngster, as a kid, did you not try to put studs on a black wristband, or was I the only one? No, I did it.
Still trying to figure it out.
Oh well, you can do it. You know, you go to. As soon as they'll open up Hobby Lobby, you can recreate some of these outfits.
Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I'm gonna get around to showing you the models I've been painting for the last 3 months. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool. I don't need to practice. I just painted a 24-inch Creature from the Black Lagoon. You want to talk about the 24-inch bass drum or my Creature from the Black Lagoon I just painted?
Hi, this is Gregg Potter. Yeah, did my light green paint come in yet? I still have to do the neck. I didn't do the neck.
Laugh it up, funny boy. It came in email form, but I had 3 little bottles because I don't know if you know, but they sold out of all the paints. You know, because everyone was stuck in the house. So I mean, I had to. Speaking of paints, do you remember the day, like the eras, like in the Yeah, you saw this. This was going in the because your buddy here. I'll be talking about these models all day. That Creature's right there. That thing's 24 inches tall. If you look at that, you see that? Like, look at the.
I hope.
Can you see? No, it's 24 inches. It's like Cozy Powell bass drum. From tip of the fins. But no, getting back to some of these Ludwig drummers. Do you remember the? I mean, I put one of the. Ludwig was one of the first companies that. I mean, I remember seeing their drummers that had the. I mean, nowadays you can get anything painted on shells. But do you remember like Myron Grumbacher when he was playing with Pat Benatar?
Oh, hell yeah.
Or Bobby Blotzer with Rat?
Right.
Okay, look at this shot of Jimmy Marinos. I found this because the Hamer Guitar Company in Arlington Heights, Ludwig was right in Chicago, and they painted that Ludwig kit for Jimmy, the Romantics. Can't tell where I'm from.
I'll tell you another one. First of all,
okay.
I just listened to the record Strictly Personal.
Yes.
You know that record?
Yep.
Holy smoke. So if you like rock and roll, if you like Cheap Trick, if you like songs, if you like big ass drums produced by Mike Stone, who came up with Roy Thomas Baker. Mike was a brilliant.
Guns N' Roses.
That's Clink. But
Clink. Okay.
Clink did. Stone did The Game by Queen. A lot of great records.
Okay.
But anyway, that record is amazing. But so I had the honor of playing the drums of one of my favorite drummers, which is Bobby Chenard, who played with Billy Squier. Bobby was a kind of a Bonham type of drummer, and he had a hot pink kit. So his nephew Roger still has this kit, and he said, if you ever come into my neck of the woods on tour and you want to play my uncle's drums, please let me know. So I'm like, well, that's done. So 24, 14, 16, 18, as you do, mid 80s, hot pink. I said, what's the story with this kit? He said, it was for a tour, and Billy Squier wanted it to match his Hamer guitar.
Yep.
So Hamer, this is a Hamer custom paint job on these Ludwig drums. And when they told me hot pink, I knew the kit, and I thought in person they were going to be like super intense, but it was this powdery pink. They were beautiful.
Yeah, they were more Pepto-Bismol pink. Check this out. So I'm in New York for the first time. I'm playing in New York. I'm recording a record with or I'm going to record a record, and it's going to be it's with Mitch Weissman. Do you remember he played Paul McCartney in Beatlemania on Broadway? He was like the mayor of New York back in the day.
Yeah.
Guitar player was Joel Danzig. He owned the Hamer Guitar Company.
There's Bobby.
And so we go to New York. The record's going to be produced by Billy Squier. So I get there, and we're
okay. This story is not going to end well because I've never heard one that does. But go ahead.
Wait, what's that again?
I want to hear where your story's going to go.
Well, the story's going. I get to the China Club where we were playing. I like to drop every reference from the 1980s that I can.
Sure.
But whatever, I got, because when I tell you who was in the audience, you'll say, that is pretty cool, Potter. Whatever. I get there, my drum kit's got one floor tom. Billy Squier goes, well, you need two floor. I said, well, I want two floor toms. I need two floor toms. Tells his guy, go to our studio, get a floor tom from Bobby's kit. What shows up? I got this white kit, a powder pink, Pepto-Bismol pink 16 by 16 floor tom, put somewhere in my collection. I'll have to, for the next show, there it is, Bobby Chenard's floor tom. Billy Squier had it brought over from wherever they were in New York, but I got to bang on Bobby Chenard's floor tom. You know, probably I hit it twice in the whole night, but Billy Squier took care of me, and I got to play that drum kit. I mean, but yes, there's another Ludwig drummer that, you know, incredible sound, played, and, you know, that was the album, the one that he played on the, you know, the albums. But yeah, I'm going to say Ludwig was the first to start doing that, where they were custom painting, you know, drums. Bobby Chenard had the pink kit that Jimmy Marinos. Bobby Blotzer had like an artsy 80, you know, it would be in the 80s.
And
like,
Myron Grombacher's.
Right, had that Japanese flag, and you know what I mean? But and even in the early 70s, Dino Dinelli had a Ludwig kit painted with Yosemite Sam on it. I don't know if you could, but I'm saying, so Ludwig was even like, you know, the forerunners of, yeah, we'll give you some shells, now go paint them up for us. You know what I mean? It just, I don't remember seeing that with anyone else out there.
Well,
like,
here's something that I've always wondered is, and maybe Bermuda might know, or Catalano might know, or even Uli might know, but so John Bonham had the 26, 15, which is nuts, 16, because that spread is weird, but 15, 16, 18 steel,
right,
stainless steel kit. And I always thought it was so cool that his rack tom had the mock lugs. The rest of them were the regular, but that, and I said, that's cool. And then one day I'm just looking at some drums, and I realize that's a snare drum. That's a marching snare, 12 by 15. So what I think is, and I don't know this is just my idea, but I think he said, I want this, this, and this, or maybe he had a 14 and he wanted to try 15, whatever. And someone said, well, we'll just give him one of these. It's a marching snare. I bet there's snare beds on that shell. I want to know.
Wow. Oh, okay.
My guess is just, hey, you know, I want a 12 by 15, and it's like, okay, you know what? Actually, give them this, because they didn't. It's not like they took another shell and drilled holes so it would match. They just said, here, you know, unless he did that, he grabbed that shell from somewhere. But I wonder if there's snare beds on that rack tom.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's a snare drum. I mean, it's not a tom. You know, they didn't make toms like that for marching bands and stuff. That wasn't a size that they would do.
Yeah, like maybe a marching tenor tom or something. I mean, I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. But unfortunately, like sometimes when you hear these stories, you find out it was just, well, that's just what they grabbed and they sent to him. You know what I mean? Like when Ringo,
as a kid, I'm thinking like, oh, he's so hip and he just wanted one thing. He didn't. He was out at the bar. You know what I mean? He wasn't concerned with that. He just said, give me this. And they showed up and they hit him. He goes, great. And then he, you know, did a set and went to bed, you know, then waited and go to bed for 3 days. Right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, or fortunately, or unfortunately, I mean, because when you hear Ringo tell the story of like how that Black Marine Pearl came, you know, his kit, that was just what they had. It's not that he chose it or he picked it. It was like, that was all that, you know what I mean? Like, whereas you would think
available, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like where, you know, these colors and stuff, like now, of course you can get anything you want. I want my drum set to match the color of my bathroom or something, you know, and take the splotch and well, I mean, I don't think I do.
Jimmy Marino started.
Although we do, well, we do have a white marine pearl bathroom in the house.
So
but
there you go.
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, but yeah, it's just amazing how deep, you know. And like I said, when you and I first met, we're like the same guy. We talk about we're influenced by mostly the same thing, you know. I mean, just the same. Yeah, drumming wise, yeah, that might be a little different.
A little.
I'm kidding. Yes. You play for the song. I think I am the song. See what I'm saying? There's a difference.
I am the song. Yeah, isn't that did Burt Bacharach?
Yeah.
Like that?
Well, you know, like I sometimes joke, you know, because of the drumming situation I'm involved in. Yeah, exactly. I would have rolled my eyes too, but I can't.
My eyes.
Oh, I thought you did. Well, no, I mean that, you know, I really can't say anything. I play the songs. I close my eyes really tight, play the songs, and just shut up. But
you're great. You know, I love watching you. And I saw you the last time I saw you. You know, so I told him we were texting before. And I said, I'm going to come out and see you play. And I said more up hits, you know, because he does this up down thing on the cymbal, and everyone. And you'd glance over like, all right.
Well, yeah, because if you take nice. Yeah, you take the effort to come see me, and then I'm going to show off for you. I'm not going to like ignore you. Oh yeah, what? No. Each time I hit that thing underneath, did you get it? And you're like, yes, Potter, I got it. I got it the first 9 times. Please stop looking over at me. I'm getting embarrassed because but yeah, I mean that is kind of that's kind of a thing. But it's still the influence that just what they put out there, and people have picked up. Because you and I must not be the only two that, you know, the drums were that. These Ludwig drums, these ads, these players, you know, they just throughout the years they've picked the right guys, they've made the right product, and it lasts. Like you were saying too, you piece together a kit from 4 different eras. Well, just as you did, and you're saying that Bonham may have done the same thing with why is one, the rack tom have a mock lug on it and the 2 floor toms don't. And,
yeah, no. Exactly. No, and there's something too that's classic about the design. You know, there's this classic Art Deco, you know, to all the lug casings.
Yes.
You know, so with the Imperial lug, they have the stacked lines or the lines on the regular lugs. You know, or even the bow tie, you know, just the lines, the symmetry, they're just beautiful. And I think they've done a great job, especially in the last decade, of modernizing all that stuff, but maintaining that elegance, that classic. And then also the drums sound incredible. You know, they sound amazing.
Yeah.
I have a legacy maple new set, and those, I've taken those around the world. I've recorded a bunch of records. They just smoke. And I think the compliment is that the producer goes, "Oh, how old are those drums?" And I was like, "Oh, you know, about 4 years." It's like 4 years. I thought they were 70s, which again is a compliment because sonically, the old drums have that sound. And so he was shocked to find that they were new, you know. And the mahoganies are the same way. The 3-ply mahoganies are the same thing. So, and I've gotten. Do you get some? I get 6-plies on the road, the 6-ply maples too, and those are just every time I play a set, I'm like, ooh. These are good. I might have to get a set of these too. They're just ripping.
Yeah. I mean, there's no, you know, we can go on and on about like tonal quality, and like I'm saying, I'm impressed by the fact that when you pull them out of the box, or they have been in the cases, you can pull them up and just play them. You don't really have to. You don't have to keep tweaking. And once it's set, it's set. You know, you don't have to keep going back between songs, or, you know, wait a second. Yeah, of course, something will get loose or something, but I'm talking about it's just such a solid piece of equipment, sonically, visually. I mean, it's amazing. And I just, you know, I'm so impressed with, like I said, how they've kept it for so long. because nowadays everything's a throwaway society. You know, you get new phones. These phones have more technology than the Apollo 13 space launch. Yet you throw the thing away after a year because they make a new one. You know, so I do know. You know, how do you teach someone to dig stuff? You know, really like it. But like you said, you play an amazing drum set in the studio, and the guy goes, "Oh, is this a new one or an old one?" They prefer the old one. And
they just assume it's old. Yeah, exactly.
They assume it's old because it sounds good. That's kind of
exactly.
That's a weird concept. You know, you would think it needs to be brand new. You know, but like I was saying, that, you know, guys, these guys that I don't want to say real guys, but these iconic guys, they do it. Okay, I guess that was enough for Matt Starr. He just quit.
No, I was just checking. My my message. So I think we're just about up on an hour. So in closing, would you like to say anything? Any closing comments?
What? Oh, I don't know. Was there
or
any?
You want to speak last? You want me to go first? And
No, I don't mean no. You let me have my picture first. I'm happy. But I did notice how you kept me down for 9 minutes. You did take the top. So next time we do this, I'm going.
Well, I Venmo'd our moderator $20 to just say just give him some technical issues so I can kind of get the floor and like set the tone, and then we'll bring him in.
That, I mean, he did a great job, because he played like, yeah, Powder, try this, I mean, we went down to, I was out in front of the Verizon store trying to get a new phone. I was trying to get anything.
Yeah.
Remember that when you'd go to a store to buy things?
That was funny.
I know. I had to order it, and they're going to deliver it tomorrow. So if you want to do this again, I can.
We'll get back.
But no, there's nothing. I mean, no, you could finish it up, but we get a chance to do this again, and you want to speak about specific drummers and their Ludwigness, that'd be great. But I mean, I thought this was great. I want to thank Ludwig and Uli, of course, all the guys at Ludwig for the incredible support that they have given me, and like just making sure equipment's there, and thank you for making everything and making it great. So otherwise, drummer wise, you can, any hate mail, anything that you didn't like, you send that to Matt. Oh, wait, no.
Yeah.
Anything that,
remember Mork from Mork, he had the.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we're going to get t-shirts that say, "I'm with Potter." And on the other side, it says "stupid."
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, no, you go, Matt, and it was great. Thank you. See you guys later. And yeah, any questions, you could find us somewhere on the internet, and I'll gladly answer, or send pictures of my my stainless steel Octa Plus. I'll send you a picture of that. Okay.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks to Ludwig and to Uli for helping facilitate this and giving us an opportunity to basically just again continue this conversation that we've been having for years, about all our favorite drummers and gear and how cool this guy is and how revolutionary this guy is and all that stuff. So Ludwig is still the best drums in the world, and I'm grateful, honored to play him. And we will we'll see you in person sometime soon. But hopefully we can do this again. Maybe we get Bermuda in here or somebody else, and get like a.
We could probably get Bunny Carlos to come. He's stuck in his house like a couple miles away, I guess. So I mean, we could probably do that. It might be a little bit harder to get Ian Pace or Roger Taylor because they're in England.
Yeah. Oh, that's like
time difference,
Europe, right? Mm-hmm.
You take a left at at Orlando, and you cross the water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
like
it's pretty far, but they wear different watches, and then they talk different. So
I noticed that.
Yeah, they talk
it's
different.
Weird. Yeah.
But no, we could get Bermuda, or we can get Bunny, or oh, I'm sure we could find someone.
There's a list. Yeah. We'll put that together. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you. This is turning into a love fest. This is like a dating app now.
Yeah, exactly.
I met Matt on Match.com.
Right. Yeah, okay. Exactly. On StreamYard.com/.
Did you want to see any more of my models before I go, or are you good? You saw the creature?
No, show me one.
I showed you the creature.
I saw the creature.
Well, no, this is the one I did. This one I just did. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at the deep.
And what's that made out of?
Vinyl resin.
And then you literally paint, mix the
Look
paint.
but look how big it is. It's like Potter size. Look at that. It's like almost as big as I am.
Big
What we do is, yeah, for Halloween, we're going to dress it in my clothes. We're going to put like a little, like I'm going to give it a pair of my little jeans and maybe a Van Halen t-shirt.
Put him in the sailor suit.
Don't be talking about the sailor suit. That's going to pay rent for me. And as soon as I can get back out there, Kathy's they're sewing it up for me right now.
Yeah.
So you better send me back that 28-inch bass drum you had, because I'm going to stand next to it.
You're just growing into it.
I'm just growing into it. Exactly. All right. Well, thank you, buddy. And yes, thank our Ludwig guys. If you again talk to them, I'm going to thank Uli again for setting me up. And you too, Maddie. Let's talk on the phone sometime. It's always fun to talk.
Yep. Yeah. Likewise. Okay. Yes. I'll see you soon. You guys have a good weekend. We'll talk to all you guys soon.
All right.
Okay. Bye.